models?
I did some drawings, so Ridley Scott liked to have the exterior landscape, the space jockey, the exilo, exterior, interior, all the alien surroundings. And I was very happy to do that because I could, I was not so limited. They had not money to do it like I designed it. You know, the whole thing looks a little bit like Art Nouveau. It was not organic enough, organic like. It looked like handmade from artists. The eggs have been very good. They look real organic. Yeah, the eggs and the area where the eggs have been. And also the walls, they have been very good because this was planned to go in the egg silo. There was a round, like a throw, and that was very nice. I thought bones, yeah, they are dried and old, but they brought this fresh from the slaughterhouse, and there was a smell horrible because the inside of the bones has been, that was just fresh, and we had a big box full of bones, and there was such a smell that we even myself, I wouldn't see that as a, please go away with this. I only used dried bones, old, together with plasticine to do it. The scale was not wrong. It was too big. We couldn't find tubes and things of this size. So that didn't work very well. So Ridley always used smoke, everything dark and smoke, and that makes the thing much better than it is. I want to have a landscape who is very much organic like, and I would like to have old motors from motorcycle or things like that, big things to make a wonderful landscape, but there was no time and no money for this. A real mixed up, a real biomechanical landscape, that would be good.
Giger's sets were so erotic, and I mean, his big vaginas and penises, and I mean, it's like, you know, it's the whole thing is like you're going inside of some sort of womb or whatever. I mean, it's sort of visceral and all of those things, and I think all those elements came into it, and that's what makes it really work.
On the so-called space jockey, which Giger, by the way, designed that whole set, the alien, and he hand-brushed the alien, airbrushed it himself, and got on a scaffold and airbrushed the whole set so it would have that eerie texture. But the thing was this: they didn't want to give us, it was too expensive a set. They didn't want to give it to us. They said, well, look, you're only in here one time. It's different if you keep using this set. This is massively expensive. This whole big creature and this big back wall. They're saying, no, we can't give you this. It's absolutely too expensive. I think it was like $400,000 or $500,000. They said, this is not your main set. You're just going to have to walk by and see a skeletal imprint in the mud of this 15-foot creature. And then you'll walk into this strange-looking building. It doesn't have to have these immense walls. It'll be a bunker or something that's weirdly constructed at angles. And that's it. We can do that cheaper, and that's where we got to stop you. Some of these things, you're just going wild.
But the space jockey was one of those things I said, look, I can't cheat this, you know. It's got to be real. It's kind of the cockpit or the driving deck of whatever this craft was. And Giger had done this drawing, which I loved, and I said, this has got to be it.
But Ridley and I kept after him. We said, look, we need this because this is our Cecil B. DeMille shot. You got to have this so that when they see this, they know it's just not a little, like we were going to do a Roger Corman movie. You got to have the people walking in, not miniatures, camera pull back, and they're on this thing, and it's the most amazing set you've ever seen. Your jaw drops, and you know you're watching an A-level movie.
Really sort of was, loved having sets, so we would go on discussing ideas for sets and things, and so he would want something more, so I would get designed like storerooms and other pieces of action, and I kept building sets, and the guy from Fox who was kind of very concerned about the fact we were running over schedule by like 4 weeks, was doing his best to stop that happening. So he would find out where I was building a set and have them pulled down. So we never got to shoot them. That happened on 2 or 3 occasions.
There's this set, which I think was an air shaft set or something, and there was this continual tussle with Ridley saying, I want that set, I want to shoot on that set. And Peter Beale would go around knowing exactly what Ridley was like. He'd discovered over the weeks of shooting, and he would actually do a sort of like a march around the studio and look in all the stages to make sure that all the sets that were being built, there was nothing that was being built without his approval. And I seem to remember it was this tussle of him saying, that is not going to be built, we're cancelling that set, and Ridley saying, no, build it, build it.
I mean, it's one of those things that we could have gone on and on and on. We'd have built other things and bigger things and more spaceship and more hidden crannies. I mean, there's whole sequences which were cut out. There's a sequence where initially the alien creature gets Scarrett, the captain, and then he cocoons him and he's stuck to a wall in one of the storerooms, and he's become sort of food for the alien creature, and he's just glued to the wall. There's no way she can rescue him, so she burns him.
Walking on those sets, walking on those stages, and seeing the richness of design and texture, it began to get to you, literally physically. And then, of course, when we started to shoot and Ridley pumped the smoke in there, you were now in ghostly surroundings. What one realized is that we were doing, that Ridley was bringing this picture to the highest possible creative level, design level, acting level, lighting level.
He was very strange looking, dressed all in black, this Swiss accent. And when we were looking at his work before we met him, we weren't really sure we wanted to meet him. We were kind of disturbed about, is he really going to be here?
I like if they are disturbed. Yes, that's good. I hate if they don't look at it, or if I have people, they like my stuff, or others, they hate it.
He's a wonderful artist. I think that was a great move, having him design the whole film.
He was so strange. Most people kept him the creeps. They wanted his office way across the room than the other, because he was like Dracula. He was Peter Lorre or something. He was always dressed in black, and he had very soft voice, but there was always these horrible stories. We heard that he had the skeleton from his fiancée who had committed suicide, and people gave him the creeps. I got along with him great. Dan and I and Ridley got along superbly. Everyone else sort of thought he was so weird that they didn't work with him too much, and as a result, that was good. It was great for Dan and I because we got so much input, getting along with him so well. People would kind of shy away from him. They'd say he was obsessed in his work. He had bones and of all kinds and all over the place.
The light hurts me. If you have too much sun, you like then to be in the shadow, and I like always to be in the shadow, in the dark.
I liked him a lot. He had a girlfriend called Mia, and they both dressed in black. He was very pale-skinned as well, and he was sort of spooky in a way, but I also kind of liked him, and there was a sweet side to him. He brought his mother over, and his mother had hip replacements, and so he would take her out. I remember having dinner out one evening with him and his mother and Mia. And Giger was, we spent a lot of time together.